Son sunum bir yabancı konuğumuzun Sayın Wesley Ekman bizlerle olacak. Karlılığın artışında dijital dönüşümün önemi. Wesley'i sahneye rica ediyoruz. Buyurun alkışlarla Wesley, please come.
Merhaba, good afternoon everybody. So my name is Wesley Ekman. I'm the Global Director for Coates Digital. And I'm here to talk to you today about why digital transformation is key to growing your bottom line. But I thought because we're at the end of the session today and it's been a long set of presentations, that I thought I would mix things up and start out with a story. I love telling stories. And the story today is around the secret of happiness. So everybody needs a little bit of extra happiness in their lives and wants to find out the secret of happiness. So the story goes like this. There's a wealthy merchant who has a wonderful son, the pride of his life. And he decides to send his son to go see the wisest man in all the land. So his son travels for 40 days, 40 nights, over mountains, across deserts, through raging rivers. And he eventually arrives at a beautiful, beautiful palace. Stepping into this palace, he sees an amazing array of different people, interesting people. There's musicians. There are artists, philosophers, mathematicians, garment apparel manufacturers, all there to hear the wisdom of the wisest man in the land. And so the young man waits because the wise man is busy. And after about 2 hours, he gets his audience. So the wise man comes and he sits and he listens to the young man's tale of his journey and of his object to get to hear the secret of happiness. And he says, young man, I don't have time right now to share the wisdom and the secret of happiness. But I tell you what, come back in 2 hours and we'll sit and we'll talk. But in the meantime, why don't you go and explore this beautiful palace? Go see the sights. Go look at the gardens. But I want to ask you one favor. The young man says anything. So the wise man pulls out a spoon and he puts 2 drops of oil in the spoon. And he says to the young man, go out there, have a look at everything, but do not spill the 2 drops of oil. And so the young man ventures out, comes back after 2 hours, and he sits down and the wise man says, tell me everything that you saw. Did you see the beautiful Persian tapestries? Did you see the magnificent gardens that my master gardener took 10 years to produce? The young man's highly embarrassed. He says, I saw nothing. I was too focused on the drops of oil. So the wise man says, I tell you what, go and have a look. Go enjoy everything I've collected, the splendor, the majesty, and go see everything. And when you come back, tell me all about it. Spare no detail. So the young man, excited, goes out. And after a time of exploring, he comes back at the allotted time and he sits down with the wise man. And he's just bubbling with joy, excitement. He says, oh my goodness. I saw the most beautiful gardens, the most beautiful lakes, the most beautiful flower beds, the most beautiful fruit trees, covered in the most beautiful birds. I saw the most gorgeous paintings, the most stunning, intricate tapestries, the most beautiful statues. And the architecture of this building and the backdrop of the mountains, I mean, just magnificent. The wise man says, that is fantastic. But where are the 2 drops of oil? And the wise young man looks down and he sees that on his adventures, he spilled the oil. So the wise man says to him, that's the lesson for today. The secret of happiness is where you can go out, see all the wonders of the world, but not forget about the 2 drops of oil. So how does this apply to technology? How does this apply to our everyday lives? Well, often, if we think about the context of business, businesses are people. And we're all, as people, number one, battling with the big things in our lives and trying to, at the same time, balance the minute details, whether it's work and focusing on our jobs and our daily tasks, or whether it's family, life at home. We worry about the economy, we worry about the industry, the big challenges. I'm not a world-leading economist, obviously. He's spoken on where the industry is today. But we know that supply chain disruptions continue from the pandemic. We know that raw materials, labor costs are rising. We know that the kind of order fragmentation is getting more and more. Lead times are getting lower. Labor is getting harder to find. People are leaving the industry. They don't want to work in the factories anymore, and this keeps us up at night. But then when we look at the details, we look at the small things in the business, and we look at the minutiae of it. And what I want to talk about today is the simple concept of measuring work content and how it applies to everybody's work and how it applies to an organization. So we talk about that matrix between quality, cost, and time. How do we increase quality without increasing time or cost? How do we reduce cost without reducing the quality? And so we try and balance this. And there's a concept called standard minute value, the method to determine the time, to determine the cost of a garment. And it's that small SMV, that single drop of oil, that determines so much of the big things that happen to us within our businesses, within our manufacturing environments. You talk about the labor time it takes to produce a garment. Where do you get that benchmark from? Some people are just faster at doing certain tasks than others. How do you determine that right method? How do you measure that time? How do you benchmark it? Because if you can't get that time for a single t-shirt or a single pair of jeans, well, how do you start planning your capacity? How do you start understanding where you can expand and which customers you can take on board? How do you start determining which products you can start manufacturing beyond your core products? And so when you take the simple concept of how long does it take to calculate a garment or produce a garment, and what is the correct method, that becomes your drop of oil that determines the rest of your manufacturing process. When we talk as Coates Digital, as a business, and I'll get into who we are and why we're here today, we see the simple facts that businesses are made up of people. People want to add value to organizations. And too often, this is what our businesses look like. There should be some Excel spreadsheets jumping there. Disconnected people, disconnected processes, disconnected data, disconnected insights. Too many people either worrying about the big stuff, what's going on in the world, what's going on in the economy, or too many people focused on just the minute details and forgetting that there is an entire department or organization around them. And so we wanted to kind of take you on this journey of where we believe technology and people meet. So for us, it's about partnership, it's about collaboration. We see industry transformation starting at the most minute data point. And once you have that data point, once it's easy to maintain and manage, then it's easy to collaborate. And we work on the simple principle: get the right information to the right person at the right time and let them make the right decision. Technology is there to augment human potential. We'll take a quick example, and I'll skip through the challenges because I've won the shot clock over here. GSD is both a piece of software, as well as a methodology, as well as a way of living and thinking within an organization. So GSD is founded on industrial engineering principles. It looks at two key concepts: method analysis. So we've built up a database of approaches and methodology to manufacturing thousands and thousands of garments. It's been benchmarked. It's been tested by industrial engineers. And it gives people the ability to do a subjective method analysis. So take this lovely lady in the middle here with one of our customers, PT Sumri. They're a large garment manufacturer out of Indonesia. They have about 2,000 sewers. They manufacture lingerie, so very intricate work, and they produce around 2 million pieces per month, with multiple manufacturing facilities across 3 different regions. So that's 3 different languages, 3 different time zones, 3 different cultures, and 3 different ways of working. Never mind just 2 sewers sitting next to each other. So when you look at the simple video that's playing on repeat in the background there, what you're seeing is a lady, one of their best sewers. And when we went in and we were doing the implementation and the training, the focus was really on how do we improve people's way of thinking, way of seeing a situation, and driving performance improvements. So she was one of their top sewers. You see she has the pieces on her left-hand side. She's picking up that piece, and she's feeding it through the machine. And the SMV for that, I think, is 0.15 something something. My eyesight's not so good, and the big screen's on my left and on my right. So they were producing, give or take, 389, somewhere around there, pieces per hour. Okay, simple. 0.15 per piece of garment. Okay? Milliseconds. The second video had nothing to do with software, although we used a benchmark and though we used the method. But what we simply did is we looked at the situation and we moved, firstly, that pile, those pieces, from the left-hand side to the right-hand side, from the outside of the sewing machine to the inside of the sewing machine. So she was not picking up with her left, feeding into her right, grabbing it, and then pushing it with her left hand. Now she had a simple motion of picking with her right, placing, and then feeding. And what you'll see is it enabled continuous motion, that truck and trailer type process. And so when you look at the efficiency, and we speak about the small drops of oil, the efficiency went from 0.15 to 0.08 milliseconds. Drops of oil. But the difference, exponentially for the business, when you look at the bigger picture on how they were competing in the market, how they were able to get their costs down, attract new customers, output. They almost doubled their production. Same people, same factory, same machines, different method, different way of seeing the world. So when we talk about software, we talk about people. We talk about the augmentation of human potential. We talk about partnership. We talk about investment and training. And it's our firm belief, 2 principles. One, that if you do the little things right, then the big things will take care of themselves. And 2, that partnership is crucial. Partnership across this entire industry. I've listened to some amazing presentations over this last day about change and sustainability. But it's the small things we do every day that make the biggest difference. Digital transformation is a big part of why Coates Digital exists. Who are we? Firstly, we're part of the Coates Group. So you know us, we're the big thread company, we're manufacturers ourselves. But why does a thread company have a technology company? Because we understand the value of technology as a strategic differentiator. We understand that we need to connect with each other across the globe. We need to stay connected to our products. We need to stay connected to our processes. But most importantly, we need to stay connected to our customers, because that's what we live for and that's who we live to serve, and adapt faster. And so as a technology business as well as a manufacturing business, we have a unique perspective on the world. We have the ability to bring our expertise from thousands of manufacturers around the world to that single sewer on that line to help her swap a simple pile from the left to the right and improve productivity by a millisecond. Technology is not a magic wand, and I always tell people this. It's not something you just wave and all of a sudden you're transformed in this amazing business. Digital transformation. It's the transformation, is that the key. It's the people and the process. It's the small details. Digital just helps you connect it, helps you implement it, helps you make it stay permanent. And that's the exciting journey that we're on. Once you have that data point, it becomes easy to collaborate, easy to innovate, easy to reduce costs. It's no longer about the cheap needle. It's about the smart needle, and we're here to help. So the exciting thing for us is, why are we here today at TGSD? Well, we've just started our new team in Turkey. We've got a local office just around the corner from each and every single one of you. We're able to help you and support you and consult with you in your language, on your time zone, in your factories, with our expertise. And my team's in the room, and some of you have spoken to them on the stand. So it's a real privilege to be here, and we look so forward to so many more events in Turkey and with the TGSD. We can help you from your design development to your method optimized costing. We help you with production planning, shop floor execution, fabric control. We're looking to build a technology company that consults, advises, partners, and enables, through technology platforms and expertise, the transformation of this industry. And we hope that we can take a young sewer coming in, starting her career, coming into a factory potentially because there are no other options, and through technology, through training, through partnership, helping her grow into a CEO one day. That's it from us, and that's it from me, and thank you for hosting Coats Digital, everyone.
Çok teşekkür ediyoruz. Wesley, thank you very much, please.
Pleasure.
Ekman Bey. Kendisine hediyesini takdim etmek üzere TGSD Başkanımızı sahneye davet ediyoruz. Buyurun.
Yeah, pleasure. Absolutely, I was already on LinkedIn. Yeah, thank you.